Hello and welcome to another installment of Autodesk BIM 360 virtual training. Today we're going to focus on BIM 360 Glue. Autodesk BIM 360. It's accelerating project delivery while minimizing contractor risks. Before we get too deep into Autodesk BIM 360 Glue, let's look at some of the common misunderstandings around BIM 360 itself. We'll address most of these misunderstandings later on in the presentation. But to begin, one we hear often, BIM 360 is only for the BIM manager. BIM 360 is a series of point solutions with a fancy name. BIM 360 is only for contractors using 3D in a BIM process. BIM 360 is a collection of iOS apps that have to have Wi-Fi connected to function. And last but not least, BIM 360 is just glue, right? So again, as I mentioned, we'll address all of these individually throughout the presentation. But really, to sum it all up, BIM 360 delivers more complete, accurate, connected digital information across the project lifecycle for whoever needs it, whenever they need it, wherever they are. Autodesk BIM 360 Glue and Autodesk BIM 360 Field web services are the solutions that make up BIM 360. These products can provide construction and engineering customers with greater value that leverage the strength of the licenses to the Autodesk suites today with the power of cloud and mobile. Let's talk a little bit about minimizing risk in key areas. One of the biggest factors, or one of the biggest things for contractors that they care about, is the idea of managing or reducing risk. And what we'd like to talk about is how you can start to manage and reduce that risk using BIM 360. So as we look at this risk circle, we can see that we have customer satisfaction, cost, quality, time, safety, and even data security. And what we're proposing is that by using a BIM 360 solution, you can greatly reduce any one of these or a combination of all of these at once. Another way to look at it is that 90% of the risk is during construction, but only 10% of technology is purchased in the field. So what is Autodesk BIM 360? BIM 360 accelerates project delivery for contractors by enabling the office to easily coordinate and connect while empowering the field to anticipate and act. BIM 360 delivers anytime, anywhere access by using a centralized project data source that you can access either online or offline. You can do so through either an office with a browser access or out in the field via iPads or an iOS app. As I mentioned before, it's made up of BIM 360 Glue and BIM 360 Field, which span different construction phases. Glue, which we'll talk more about here in a moment, is really for that pre-construction phase. And then as you move from pre-construction out into construction execution and then commissioning and handover is where field begins to be leveraged. Bottom line is we're connecting project teams and project data via a common cloud database. So how do we accelerate that project delivery? First off, we're enabling anytime, anywhere access to that project data. Then we're delivering information for consumption by anyone on that project. Next, connecting multidiscipline project teams across all of architectural engineering and construction. We provide a shared database of project information spanning that pre-construction through handover, as you saw on the previous slide. And of course, the ability to analyze that data for future planning and execution. So how can our customers benefit by deploying BIM 360? First off, they're going to deliver projects that are at or under budget. They're going to increase their profitability, they're going to maximize their resources, and then they're going to increase their construction quality. It's not just us saying it though. Here's some great examples of a couple customers that are having huge benefit by deploying BIM 360. You can see Skanska, Inova, and Turner, and even Bond saving upwards of 35% for their projects. And of course, Clayco here, looking at it from a little different angle where they're saving up to 1.2 hours per issue logged out in the field using BIM 360. So on now to a little bit more specifics about Glue. As we mentioned before, Glue is really going to span that pre-construction part of the workflow and streamlines that BIM project review and coordination workflows. Let's now take a look at a typical week in a traditional coordination process. Usually we begin with a BIM manager or a central person that is responsible for bringing all the information for the project together. They'll get information from the designers, whether they be structural, architectural, MEP, and they'll bring that information together in a single aggregated model. As folks produce more information throughout the week, let's say that then design will take that aggregated model, build more on top of it, and MEP as well. They're now breaking their versions off into separate silos to do that. Then let's say maybe later in the week, there's a deadline for the BIM manager to get all the files back together. So in this case, maybe it's Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. Let's have everything, all the new coordinated files back to me. Then that BIM manager goes ahead and iterates the aggregated model again. They'll then have all that information, and let's see here, maybe they've got some design information on Wednesday, but somebody else was late, so they get it back on Thursday. And of course, now that they have that aggregated model that has the one or two big updates in it, they can get together on Friday, sit down and do their long coordination meeting, either in person or virtually. But typically, this is a long meeting where everybody's going to sit together, go through all the information, and start to hash out whose problems are what and who's going to take care of what clashes. Now let's look at what a week in a Glue-enabled coordination process might look like. Again, we have the same players, the designer, the BIM manager, the structural MEP, so on and so forth. But when we integrate it with a cloud-based model, a single shared model using Glue, now people have the freedom to do their clash detection and coordination on their own and start to update that model as they do it. So now we can see maybe that structural person is updating on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. MEP comes in on Tuesday and Thursday, design Wednesday and Thursday, whenever they're ready. The idea is that they can iterate that model as much as they need to as they start to find clashes themselves. And because the one single shared model is updating the whole time, we've removed that bottleneck of the BIM manager, and now everyone can see what's happening in that project at any time. Moving into some of the customers that are having success with BIM 360 today, pretty big list here. You can see some pretty big names, spanning both design, mostly construction though, and of course some owners as well. So in conclusion, Autodesk BIM 360, it helps generate alignment between planning and performance while helping to minimize the risks associated with outdated or inaccurate project data. Moving into the specific training, we're going to go through 4 modules today. We're going to look at that anytime, anywhere access. We're going to go through notification and collaboration, then take a look at the module for dealing with real-time clashes, and of course finish out with sending this information out into the field via mobility. So in conclusion, Autodesk BIM 360, it helps generate alignment between planning and performance while helping to minimize the risks associated with outdated or inaccurate project data. Thank you for your time. That concludes the overview for Autodesk BIM 360 Glue. I appreciate your time. Thank you for your time.